Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Peter Guzman joins us. He's the president of the Las Vegas Latin Chamber of Commerce, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Washington's reckless, irresponsible spending is costing Nevadans plenty, and Senator Catherine Cortez Masto has also voted for spending that's even more reckless, allowing COVID relief checks to go to convicted criminals in prison, including the Boston Marathon bomber, a Michigan sex abuser, murderers, and drug dealers, and voting to let COVID checks go to illegal immigrants. Tell Senator Cortez Masto to start voting against reckless and wasteful spending to stop inflation.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Events Center in Las Vegas. Host meetings and events on 2 floors. Stay in luxurious rooms and suites. Unlimited branding opportunities. Regional Italian cuisine by Chef Mark Segrisi. Flexible event spaces. Full buyout options. Visit ahernhotel.com today.
I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. Entertainment here at the Carson Valley Inn is extraordinary.
Yeah, super proud of the TJ's Corral, our outdoor venue, about 1,500 seats. We've had first-class entertainment out there. We've had Merle Haggard, we've had Chris Young, we've had Lee Brice a couple times, we've had Pat Benatar, Joan Jett, who's in the Hall of Fame. We're real proud out there, and it's just a great time. Watch CarsonValleyInn.com and grab those tickets early. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always delighted to welcome back to the program Peter Guzman. He is president of the Latin Chamber of Commerce of Las Vegas. Pleasure to have you back on the program, sir. And really, it's of the whole state, right?
It is. We're a statewide chamber, and I appreciate you pointing that out, and I also appreciate you having me on.
Oh, you are very, very welcome. So I wanted to start out with something. By the time we air this, it's going to be almost a week ago. But the news from the Southern Nevada Water Authority, from that letter from John Ensminger about the water situation on the Colorado. What were your thoughts on seeing that? Because that was some stark reality.
Yeah, no, listen, I work closely with the Water Authority and John, and I'm part of I think an 8-9 person member of a advisory committee, and so we just had a meeting about this. So listen, John's getting aggressive because this is what is required. These are aggressive. We need aggressive leadership at this moment because water is so important, and we got to make sure that we're on top of things. And so I have confidence that John is getting aggressive for the right reasons.
You know, it's interesting. Your good friend Sig Rogich joined Republicans for Reed, started it really, because of the situation on the Colorado River. He said, who do you want negotiating with the other states? It seemed like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like from John's letter that everybody's giving up something potentially, but California doesn't seem to be giving up stuff. Was that the way it struck you?
Yeah, it always strikes me that way, and that's unfortunate. I mean, they have other resources, I believe, that they're not exploring enough, maybe even desal. And so, yeah, I just want to make sure that we're aggressive and making sure that this state can continue to grow responsibly, but be able to grow and create new jobs and new businesses. And water's an important component of that.
All right, so let's turn our attention to politics, my friend. Everybody's
in an election year?
I've heard that. Maybe I'm wrong on that. We're hearing a lot about independents and nonpartisans But the other and really large group is the Hispanic vote. And even though it's such a varied vote, majority population of Mexican voters in Southern Nevada, where do you think, from what you're hearing, are they breaking? Which direction?
Yeah, and that's a very popular topic at the moment with a lot of the media saying that Hispanics are leaving the Democratic Party and running to the Republican Party. I don't believe that, and I don't see that here. And I meet with folks each and every day, and I communicate with folks in various different ways each and every day. And I'm here to tell you that there are big numbers leaving the Democratic Party, and they're very upset. But they're not running towards the Republican Party. They are running towards that independent and nonpartisan, I believe. And so their vote is up for grabs. Their vote is absolutely up for grabs and probably going to decide some elections. They're very upset about education. They're very upset that they feel their kids are getting left behind. And then, of course, the closures. And then you have the entrepreneurs, the business owners that are, very upset that, their businesses were closed. And, who could have predicted this pandemic? But, there's always a price to pay for these things. But I'll tell you, the group that is really upset more than anybody I've been meeting with is soccer moms, Latina soccer moms. They just, they've had it. I mean, they feel like they've been promised education would improve and that their kids would be okay. And now their kids are not reading at the proper grade level and things of that nature. And they're just upset. And I believe their vote is up for grabs.
It's interesting that after such a long time of the internet, that distance learning wasn't something that was better organized and ready to go, and in fact really should have been in place all along, because we have some fabulous teachers. Every teacher tries their best, but there are some fabulous teachers out of that group. And to me, they should have been putting together classes either from the school district or from the state or from the federal government, so that we will be prepared to give our kids a better education, period. Because not every kid is ever going to be able to go into that best teacher's classroom, but online it should be available. But it just seemed like it just didn't work.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's where our investment should be going. That absolutely, that should be an option and a viable option and a good option. I mean, we're doing telemedicine. Telemedicine is coming on very strong, and people like it. Why can't we have education? Why can't we have groups studying online? By the way, the Latin Chamber of Commerce, I'm very proud to say, has its own charter school on the second floor of our building, and the majority of it is online and dual credits, getting your first year college credits while you're finishing up your high school. I'm telling you that it is working and can work if a proper investment is made. We can't just have our schools be childcare facilities.
It's interesting you bring that up, because in Northern Nevada, and I'm probably going back 20 plus years now, one of the first groups to really promote charter schools were Hispanic charter schools. I mean, you guys have been there from the beginning.
And listen, I remember when I first spoke about school choices and charter schools, I got attacked for saying, why are you anti-public schools? Let me be very, very clear. I'm not anti-anything. I'm pro-public school, pro-homeschool, pro-charter school, pro-online school, and pro any school that is going to help a kid read better, do better math, the fundamentals that they're going to need to succeed in the world.
Well, is what's missing getting kids involved in internships to be able to prepare them, as early as possible? I mean, I was talking to.
Let me tell you, Sam, there's a school out here called Cristo Rey that is phenomenal. Everybody should be looking at Cristo Rey. I have right now 4 interns from Cristo Rey. It is a private-public partnership. Businesses sponsor these kids. It is amazing how they come into the Latin Chamber, and first day they don't even say a word because they're nervous, they're shy, and by the time they're done, they're trying to tell me what to do. It is absolutely the key And Crystal Ray is doing it already. And I'm telling you, we should be highlighting that school.
Well, I was talking to a news director yesterday, and they were saying that they were shocked when they took the job that there weren't more interns at the station. And then when they started trying to find interns, they were having the hardest time getting these kids to be involved. You know, I did a 6-month internship back in the day, I guess the Stone Age now, but that was the best thing ever. I didn't make any money, but I sure learned a lot.
No, I think it's key. I think it's absolutely key. And there's paid internships as well. We pay our interns are making some money, but the bottom line is that we got to be thinking outside the box. We can't just be a child care service and not worry about anything else. There has to be more interaction with young students and business people and fields that maybe they want to find a career in. Let's get that happening earlier and more often.
Yeah, because the other part of it is not every kid needs to go to college and rack up tens of thousands of dollars of college debt.
100%. No, listen, that day, that little period where that was popular to think that, where that every kid has to go to college, that's over with. That day, those days are over with. We need the best plumbers, the best electricians, best mechanics, whatever a kid wants to do. Let's find the best way to get them there and make the most money they can. The money will come when you follow your passion.
So let me ask you about this. I just recently interviewed Zach Conine, the state treasurer, and he was talking about how much money is flowing into the state, billions of dollars. It's amazing. I mean, of course, it's all our money because it's tax money, but it's still coming to Nevada.
Yeah, but it's nice to use it.
Yeah, we'll benefit from it. But I asked him, I said, going into the next legislative session, how much do you think the teachers' unions are going to ask to go towards funding education? He didn't really give me a good answer on that, but don't you agree that the unions are going to come right back, even though they got this mining tax money, and ask for more money?
Well, and Zach's a smart guy, and he's in an election year, so maybe he didn't want to answer that question wholeheartedly, or maybe he just doesn't have the answers yet. He's a guy who does analyze things. Listen, of course, I mean, we know every session, more money, right? That's always the first answer to everything is, let's get more money, more money, more money. I think I could tell you that Latino soccer moms are getting a little irritated by that. There's a lot of money going at this thing. I'm not saying that more money's not needed. I'm just saying we better start thinking outside the box and get creative, because doing it by the playbook that we've been doing it hasn't gotten us very far.
So what should the playbook look like?
The playbook should look like putting people that really care about change in a room and coming up with creative ideas. And that's got to include other forms of education. Like, let's not poop on charter schools, homeschooling, online schooling. Let's look at all of it. If it's really truly about the kid, about the children, then why isn't everything on the table for discussion?
I believe the word is called politics.
Well, I believe that people are getting fed up with that, and maybe people voting a different way than they've always voted will change some things. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I would like to think that, but then we look at situations. Liz Cheney in Wyoming, completely blown out in that primary because of the support of Donald Trump to her opponent. And yet she's a Cheney. I mean, that name forever was a solid name in Wyoming. So I don't know. It seems like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Listen, let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll get into other issues after this timeout. As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerhour, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Ahern Rentals began as Signal Gas Station on Las Vegas Boulevard. Founder John Ahern grew the business by offering rentals. His son Don built on John's legacy, growing Ahern Rentals into the largest independently owned American rental company with 89 locations in 30 states. Don also brought his experience and vision to equipment manufacturing with Extreme Manufacturing and Snorkel. Today, Ahern Rentals continues to bring its family values to a new generation. Learn more at ahern.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Peter Guzman. He is the president of the Las Vegas Latin Chamber of Commerce. I saw a report, and I don't know if you've seen it, from Cox Cable. Did you see that on the Hispanic market, in the market in general, but it was also featuring a major part, and it was talking about how the Hispanic market is the market to be concerned about if you are a business, that 1 in 3 residents now in Las Vegas are Hispanic.
Well, and if I may, just before I touch on that, I just want to be very, very clear. Our teachers are doing the best they can. They're handcuffed. We need teachers to be unhandcuffed. Take the cuffs off and let them teach their, let them think outside the box and teach these young kids how to read, math, and science so that they can compete with the world. That being said, listen, I was not shocked by that Cox document. I'm pleased that it's out. I'm pleased that people were, are paying attention and shocked. We know this at the Latin Chamber of Commerce. We do surveys. We communicate with our members and our database like no other. And our database is huge. I keep it very quiet, but we communicate with our folks. And I'm telling you that anybody who's ignoring the Hispanic community will get left behind. Nothing to be fearful of. Listen, they're here, they're paying their taxes, they're working hard, and they're creating jobs and businesses. It's time to embrace that and be part of it. 37% of the Latin Chamber's growth over the last 3 years have been non-Hispanic businesses. Why? Because we've been educating non-Hispanic businesses to join our party so that their businesses can grow and Hispanic businesses can grow. That's the future.
Well, you're 100% correct there. I've been saying that literally for 30 years. It's money that's been left on the table, really, by both sides. The Hispanic community was very insular. The Anglo community didn't understand the Hispanic community, and so the lines of communication and understanding how they did business was not understood. And that Cox document really laid out what we've known for a very long time, that you can't just approach this very diverse community in the same way that you've devoted your marketing and your relationships to other communities. It's a whole different ballgame. But it's one, Walmart figured it out. Walmart was the first one that put up prices in English and Spanish.
Sure. And listen, it takes more than, there has to be a sincerity to this.
Sure.
To that market. Listen, Hispanics know the difference. And, putting up a mariachi band without sincerity is not a good look, right? And so
that should be your motto, man.
We do that really well at the Latin Chamber of Commerce. We keep it real. We know who we are. We embrace who we are, and we're not going anywhere.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be back more with Peter Guzman after this timeout.
Leaders find solutions. Politicians are part of the problem. Take Catherine Cortez Masto and Adam Laxalt. Cortez Masto co-sponsored a bill capping insulin costs. Adam Laxalt called a plan that caps costs reckless. No surprise, Laxalt is personally invested in big drug companies. When they make money, he makes money. That's the difference. Catherine Cortez Masto is lowering the cost of drugs. Adam Laxalt sells out and cashes in. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Peter Guzman. He's the president of the Las Vegas Latin Chamber of Commerce. What's been fascinating to watch over the last couple of years since Allegiant Stadium came on board is the number of soccer matches and the draw that they provide and the Latin entertainers. We're seeing it in Northern Nevada as well. You know, this is huge business. People need to wake up to how big this market is and that it's not, you know, we're talking about the Grand Prix as being a worldwide event. Soccer is a worldwide event.
Yeah, I find that amusing when they do that and they forget to mention soccer. I mean, do you know how big soccer is around the world? It's the sport, and the amount of money spent on it is huge. So I'm glad Vegas and Nevada is embracing it. We should do a lot more of it. I knew it was coming when the Latin Chamber and myself testified for this stadium. We knew it was going to create jobs and opportunities. And boy, have we been proven right. This thing has done nothing but create jobs and opportunities.
Well, and you look at the tax monies coming in from the room tax revenue, its portion of it, it's huge. I mean, this stadium is going to be paid for, at least on the public side, much quicker than I think anybody thought when you're doing $1 billion a month revenues for the casino industry.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what's going on. And listen, it's definitely created a buzz and created other sports now looking at us, and I suspect we're going to get more.
All right, so let me ask you a question here. We've got a couple of minutes left here in the program. As you look on a national level, both parties are in need of a youth movement. And when I say a youth movement, maybe people who are in their 40s and 50s as against people who are in their 70s and 80s to be presidential candidates. Who do you see on either side coming out as realistic contenders for president, vice president, these top offices?
Well, it always seems to be something that comes out of from nowhere. Like, it's hard to predict. I mean, obviously, Trump is still a factor. DeSantis is a factor on the Republican side. On the Democrat side, obviously, you have a VP that's probably going to want to, have a seat at the table. And you have some folks down in Texas. You got some young people in Texas on both sides that are doing really good things. Listen, we always talk about that. But then we majority of the time we end up with, an elder white guy as president at the top of the ticket. I suspect this time around we may see something different.
Well, I think the vice president, who I'm sure is a very good person, but she's not being given much credibility in terms of.
I didn't say she had a chance, Sam.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just pointing it out there.
I said that she's VP and she's going to want a seat at the dance. So we'll see what happens. But I think you'll see some folks come out. They always do. But then what do we end up with is what I hope people really, really pay attention. This independence and nonpartisans, I hope they're really paying attention and not just giving away their vote.
Do you think that there is any reality in a third-party candidacy?
Again, we get excited and we talk about that, but Ross Perot was the last guy to even make a dent, and he did make a dent. And then they quickly made sure that he was good riddance. I don't think the structure is set up for a third party to really, really make a serious run. I could be wrong. Times are changing, but the system is set up for a Republican and a Democrat really to have the advantage.
So really, if you end up with a third-party candidate, it ends up being more of a spoiler than it does as a viable candidate.
It always seems to be that way in history.
All right, my friend. Hey, listen, we'll be checking back with you here to catch up on what's going on with the Latin Chamber. Always fun. Thank you for doing this as always.
Always a pleasure. I love the work you do and getting the voices out.
Thank you, sir. And we'll be right back.
Washington's reckless, irresponsible spending is costing Nevadans plenty, and Senator Catherine Cortez Masto has also voted for spending that's even more reckless, allowing COVID relief checks to go to convicted criminals in prison, including the Boston Marathon bomber, a Michigan sex abuser, murderers, and drug dealers, and voting to let COVID checks go to illegal immigrants. Tell Senator Cortez Masto to start voting against reckless and wasteful spending to stop inflation.
With Nevada's only transplant center and verified burn center, the science is here. With award-winning cardiologists and the state's only dedicated heart failure clinic, the talent is here. With Nevada's most advanced robotic surgery, the technology is here. And with the Silver State's only designated pediatric trauma center, hope is here. All because we are here. UMC.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. One of the things I love about the Carson Valley Inn here in beautiful downtown Minden is CV steak. I have eaten here so many times. Tell folks what they can expect when they come here to eat.
It's a beautiful room, great service. We have certified Angus beef, seafood, lamb, a great range of appetizers, and wonderful desserts. Jean-Michel's done a great job of selecting some beautiful wines for us. The customers love it, and we've got a great selection of cocktails as well. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com. You can also check our archive going back to 2005 on our website. Again, NevadaNewsmakers.com. We'll see you on the next show.